So this is ABR number 4. So this field is a little bit of a conundrum because I have spots in this field that are probably the best on the farm. I also have spots in this field that are terrible. But besides that, just like everywhere else, we moved a lot of dirt, and I really wish I had a cover crop planted here, and here's why. Welcome back to American Beef Ranch. It has been super dry. As you can see, it's not. So we've got a few inches of rain in the last short little while, and it has really magnified something to me that I wanted to do, that I wanted to implement, but I wasn't quite able to. So really, this field especially could have benefited from a cover crop, but all my fields could have in the fall time to help obviously reduce erosion and help improve soil health. But as you know, I was not able to because typically one reason, financially, couldn't afford it. But number two, also didn't have the equipment to do it, and honestly didn't really know how to implement it properly when I started this whole farming journey in 2021. Because when I started in 2021, regenerative and organic and cover crops and all that stuff weren't as in the focus as they are now in 2025 and in the future. And it's not that I couldn't have figured it out or didn't know how to, it's just that I was too busy trying to run the farm to even think about cover cropping and doing other things like that. But as I've grown and now I've sold fertilizer, learned a lot about dirt, now I can see and know how to talk about implementing cover crops in certain situations that would be beneficial. Now, let me first say that I will always tell you to start with the soil test and fix the minerals before spending money on anything else. But a cover crop can be a great way to help benefit your farm in additional ways. Other ways. It can help you scavenge nutrients, increase soil health, keep the ground covered, and that's a really important part. And I think we should take some time to talk about it and use this field for some context, because this was dust 2 days ago and now it's slop, and we had a big opportunity here that we missed a little bit. What we know about regenerative ag is we like to take care of the soil. We like to help repair the soil. Now, building soil is kind of a term I have problems with because it takes a long time to actually build an inch of topsoil. Some say 500 years, some say 50, some say 100 years. Anyway, it's working more on Mother Nature's timeline than on a farmer's timeline, who, if they're lucky, right, gets 50 seasons in their life to actually farm. So I think the goal of a farmer should be to protect what he has and improve the soil that he has. Not necessarily going to build topsoil, but add carbon back to your soil, add balance back to your soil, add biological activity back to your soil, give the biology the opportunity to work, which I've talked about. So part of regenerative ag is keeping a living root in the ground at all times. Now, it's hard to do that in a lot of places, but, you know, as we continue to go down this road of regenerative ag, we can figure out different ways to help solve that problem. Now, I wish, especially in this field, I would have a cover crop in right now, because it's a 21-acre field. The upper 2/3 is pretty flat. It's kind of hilly and flat, but this lower 2/3, and the camera's not going to do it justice, is all on a hill, and all the water drains off that way. And as you can imagine, we have huge erosion problems. Now, one of the things when we talk about building carbon to, or getting carbon back into our soil, and why is a cover crop important to that? Well, a living root or a green plant is taking energy from the sun through the process of photosynthesis, creating chlorophyll, and shooting that chlorophyll or energy down into the soil. Basically sugar. The plant takes sun, makes sugar, shoves it into the ground, and that's energy. What's sugar made of? Well, sugar is made of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. So it's shoving carbon and oxygen into the ground and storing that energy for later. Now, when it stores that energy for later, it's helping build that soil. But anytime that there's not a living root in the ground, basically all of that work that could be happening is not. So you're wasting time. And when you waste time, unfortunately, you till, your soil degrades, and you're not able to get the benefits that you could, Like I said before, erosion is another big problem. If you get a cover crop planted, you can help reduce erosion, and then you don't get big old puddles that look like. This behind me is literally thousands of gallons of runoff from this field behind me. So behind me is the hill of field number 4, about 7 or so acres, and it's all flooded down here to this low spot. In this low spot, you know, it's a couple feet deep, but literally there is thousands of gallons of water that has ran off this field and gone to the side. We see this all over the country. Unfortunately, runoff like this creates the dead zones in the ocean, helps create water that has excessive nitrates in it. All of those things because of runoff, and this is a great example of where a cover crop can help slow down this potential. So how's a cover crop going to help you keep this water in this field, even though this is a pretty aggressive steep hill? First off, you have a living root. You have porous space in the ground for extra water to flow. And on the same time, you're building that soil health. You have that microbial activity. You have the worms doing what they're supposed to do. They're creating space in the ground. Now, is it going to eliminate runoff in the first year? No, this field had dirt moved on it. There's a lot of spots that aren't very good. There's a lot of spots that are good that can soak up more water, but a cover crop, a multi-species cover crop with some tillage radishes, with some oats, with some flax, with you name it, a complete mix of cover crop in this field, not only would help keep the runoff from happening, but also may give somebody like me some supplemental grazing, some more stuff that I can run my cows on. And the other benefit of that is that if with the right cover crop, right, I'm storing nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, making them available, pulling them up from the ground. And you can even go deeper and say that we have enough nutrients in the ground to grow any crop we want to. We just have to give the biology a chance to take those nutrients, manipulate them, and then make them available for the plant. I'm not saying that a cover crop is a fix-all, because if you have a deficiency, you have a deficiency. But a cover crop can really help you in the long run build your soil health faster, help you store nutrients for next year's crop, and give you a good return on your investment. When I'm able to, we're going to implement cover crops as much as possible on American Beef Ranch, just to help with reasons like this, building the soil up as quickly as we can. We have already made huge improvements on all of our fields. We've seen it in the crops, we've seen it in the soil test, but we know we can do more. And honestly, if you don't know, you've seen this video up here before, like financially, I'm just not able to. And I wasn't able to because of equipment and because of finances, which basically comes down to the same thing. Don't be afraid to reach out to people about integrating cover crops into your farm. There is so much more information now in 2025 about anything you want to learn about regenerative ag than anywhere other time in the future. We know more now than we did last year this time, and cover crops are becoming, honestly, pretty mainstream. I actually went to a soil health workshop put on by the university here in Idaho in Twin Falls a few weeks ago, and a lot of the commercial growers, very commercial growers, are implementing cover crops to help them with nutrients and runoff and all sorts of other things, just because we're all concerned about our ROI. We're also starting to all be concerned about our dirt, and if we can take better care of our dirt, we can obviously grow a better crop. Thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Try implementing cover crops this year if you never have before, and we'll see you next time.